All right. Here's Hendo.
I have no idea why I'm laughing.
All right. Oh, wait. iPad entered the waiting room.
Let me record.
It's fucking record. I do have to do it. Do I have to do this every time?
Let me do the recording.
No, we both do it. That's fine.
Yeah.
I have to do this every time.
Yeah, you got to do that every time.
Oh, it's super annoying.
But here we are.
Should we let iPad in?
Whose iPad?
I don't know. About to find out. Let's do it.
I hope he's not naked.
Oh wow! Oh wow! So that happened to Zoom during the pandemic, isn't it? That tighten up
happened all the time. Hello, iPad.
There he is, iPad.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's someone else coming. Who's that?
That's Dan.
Okay, who's that?
That's the other half of Hiker.
Fuck me. Who else is coming to this show, mate?
That's it.
Okay,
that's it.
Bloody hell.
So he actually uses his real name. That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, congratulations on the name. Wait,
that's Mr. You should say that's Mr. iPad to you.
Yeah.
There he is.
There he is.
How are you, legend?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
We're just having a bit of a giggle because
Phil's name.
Yeah.
Not really. Hendo was laughing before his name was even a thing. We don't even know why he's laughing.
Oh, okay.
What?
That's just Hendo. So.
Yeah. How is everyone?
He's still going.
Good.
Not as good as you, apparently.
I'm just stoked to be here. You know, we're recording this one night earlier than usual because I'm off to Adelaide tomorrow. So thanks for being with us, guys.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
You've been had.
Do you have questions prepared, Hendo? You seem to know all the guests and seem to have organised.
Yeah, so we should introduce our guests. So with us this evening, consuming their beers simultaneously, is Phil Sharp and Dan Venema from Hiker Brewing Concern. And how did this come about? We were just sort of, it was kind of Phil actually. It was having a bit of we've spoken a little bit about Hiker over the last few weeks and that sort of thing. And which has been a really interesting project to watch. I've been really enjoying the blog posts and stuff like that. Phil left a very insightful comment about what he proposes the future direction of some of the brewing competition should be. So that's why Phil's here. I've got to find out why Dan's here, but here he is.
In case there's any dry hopping needed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, out comes the dry hopping shirt. Look at this.
Wow. I was looking for that shirt today, but anyway.
Yeah, I thought I'd lost it. I just found it in my cupboard when I moved. Also, my dog's licking my feet. I don't know if you guys or anyone else needs to know that, but that's happening.
Better than humping.
Yep. You guys got a beer? Stop fucking licking me.
Yeah.
You okay, Dan?
I'm fine.
Mr. Norris? Mr. Norris?
I'm fine. What beer you got, mate?
I have got a sponsored beer.
Oh.
And so this is this glass is fucked.
Oh, no.
So this is the Blasta Brewing Company, Grimster Rocks.
Nice.
Ooh.
Take a photo of that for the fucking thumbnail.
True. This is high quality audio content.
YouTube.
It's like 30 seconds of silence every 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at this one here. So this beer, I've never tried it before, but I have heard good things about it. It won some awards. I do recall it winning some gold medals, I think, at the AIBAs. And G. Russell, Grimster Rocks, Mosaic Pale Ale. There we go. Let's have a look.
Ooh.
Well, definitely some mosaic in it. Oh, what's the date on this one?
Good sign.
12. It's not too bad. It's probably a little bit long in the tooth. I don't think it's the beer to blame. It's just I can't read the best before date, but it's all right. I'm enjoying it. Good bit of mosaic. Nice malt backbone. Good drop.
Nice.
What do you guys got?
I'm doing a bit of market research. So the old the Halal. So that's going to be Halal is going to be in our core range. So just doing a bit of market research to see what the good stuff's like. So yeah, it's not too bad.
For us, they're not cheap beers to make, unfortunately, because if you want to make a good Halal, it needs good malt.
Yeah.
Yep.
How's that one tasting?
It's really good. It's it's just got those nice little spice notes to it. So which is common in a Halal. So yeah, no, really enjoy it. We've already done one pilot batch. That was a few months ago now. So we're still sort of Daniel's refining the recipe. And yeah, we'll be doing some more sort of pilots in the next couple of months once we get sort of more stable electricity at our new brewery.
Oh dear.
You can't just get Hendo there on a bike or something?
Oh yeah, I wish. The saga of electrical. Like that's one thing when you anyone who wants to start a brewery actually have a look at how much juice is going into the place. So it's sort of something that you don't really think about until it actually happens. So
right. We ran a generator at BH2 for the first 3 or 4 months because we didn't think we had enough power, and eventually just worked out how to manage it. And we took over another shed that had another 150 amps or whatever the measurement is. But generators are ridiculously expensive. I would have had to have one for my house build, except my neighbour's been nice enough to chuck his power cord over the fence. But yeah, you don't want to have to put a generator in. Those things are seriously expensive.
Are you fixing him up for that or what?
No, but he's putting in a massive unit development right in front of my house, and I didn't complain. So I feel like he owes me a favour.
No.
What do you got there, Daniel?
I am drinking some Ether Hopskip Jump IPA.
Oh, nice. I was there on the weekend.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's delicious. They're my local, so. Yeah,
I was there on the weekend catching up with DJ.
Yep.
He showed us his non-alcoholic beer or no alcohol beer, and then he started talking about NFTs, and then I got confused.
Got out of there.
Yeah.
NFTs I get. It's the DAOs I don't fucking get at all. And these fucking like these ones, They're called
DAOs.
DAOs, yeah. DAOs, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Phil and Daniel, why don't you tell us a little bit of what do you got? Hornet?
Yeah.
Is that off the new canning line?
No, it's not. This is a week and a bit old. It's tasting fresh. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Not sponsored.
What did you put? What was the first beer you put through your new canning line?
East Coast, but it's still only today was only the second time we've run it. There's so many different parts to it that it's kind of like one bit breaks, next bit breaks, and then this bit works, and then so it's just dialing it all in. There's a lot to it. You'll
burn a lot of beer in the meantime.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. So, yeah. So, Phil and Daniel, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you're up to at the moment?
Daniel, you want to go first?
Sure thing. So I guess short background on me. I'm a civil engineer by trade, but graduated at the wrong time. Found it pretty difficult to find work, and sort of drifted away from that because of that. Just got into home brewing back in probably late 2016. Got really into it, started doing some study just out of interest. Ended up sort of thinking about whether I could sell my beer at a market or something, and it snowballed into me starting my own gypsy brewing company. And while I was planning the launch party for that, I got a random Facebook message from Sir Hendo himself,
That guy.
Asking
Look at that guy.
that guy,
That guy.
asking if I wanted to come in for a chat about a brewing job. And yeah, a couple of weeks later, I was on my first shift at Catchment as their brewer, and I worked there for a couple of years, and I've been brewing ever since. So yeah, it's been about 4 years since I started brewing commercially. And yeah, it's always sort of, ever since I got into the industry, I've had the dream of owning my own brewery and being in charge of my own beers. And you know, I got that at Catchment. I ran the brewery. I did everything to do with the beer and wrote the recipes with help from Hendo, of course. I was pretty fresh, but
He was very quick to drop the sir, wasn't he?
Yeah, well,
Just use it
no,
once.
I didn't want to just
use
call it
once,
Hendo.
then it's good.
I think, yeah, I really wanted to be able to manage my own business as well. So yeah, it's always been a goal of mine. And I sort of got to the point where I was looking at starting my own little tiny glorified homebrew kit in a cafe size bar sort of deal, and doing it all by myself. And yeah, I remember catching up with Hendo for a beer to chat about it, and he told me in no uncertain terms not to do that because it was too much work for one person. And I'm very glad that he warned me away from that. Now, at the time, I was a bit like, oh, I really want to do it myself. I don't want to have other people involved. Like, I want to.
What was his advice? Don't do it, or don't do it by yourself.
It was don't do it by yourself. Yeah, it was sort of a little bit don't do it at all, but not don't do it at all. More like be careful, think about it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the reality check, wasn't it?
It was, and I didn't like it at the time.
He did the same thing to me, by the way, so you're not alone there.
I think I did the same for Phil too.
and look where we are, hey?
Fuck yes.
It really
He wasn't wrong though.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Hendo ended up putting me in touch with Phil because he knew we were both looking to do something, and yeah, here we are.
That's so cool. So look, why don't you tell your story, Phil? Because you
that was very serendipitous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my story's I actually have to thank COVID, I think, for my journey. I've always loved craft beer, and I bought Black Ops Operation Brewery, and I still it's etched in my brain to actually have a brewery and need to be able to brew good beer. And I went, oh well, I just shelved it. And then COVID came along, and I was running all the competitions at the ECA and the Royal Queensland Food and Wine Show.
Wait, you missed a bit about how we used to work together like 20 years ago.
Sorry, yeah.
What?
So I'll rewind 20 years. So it's funny, like so when I heard about Black Ops, I went, I know those names like Dan Norris and Eddie Oldfield. So I thought must be the same people. So yeah, going back, I used to be the HR strategy manager at Queensland Rail, and Dan was actually brought on board. We were a bit cutting edge, Queensland Rail, in regards to we were rolling out learning management system and online learning. So Dan came on to develop online learning, and yeah, Eddie, I actually used to work with Eddie's dad and uncle. So yeah, so it's funny how the world turns. Now I work for Dan. So, but anyway, but it is funny. So, and it's still, I still remember Dan and I didn't have a lot to do with each other, but I still, it's still etched in my brain. Is he was very entrepreneurial at that stage, and obviously that's just in his DNA. So, but yeah, so I followed the journey of Black Hops. Bought the book, I love craft beer. And then I ended up working for BHP and got made redundant there, and then sort of because we were rolling out a new payroll system, and I ended up having 6 months off, and ended up just volunteering at my local show society, and that sort of led to one thing to another, and ended up working at the Royal Queensland Show, running competitions. So which I really love, because you could actually do a bit of entrepreneurial stuff there. And one of the things was bringing back the beer awards, which sort of had a hiatus for about 6 or 7 years when VB won Best Queensland Beer. So
isn't that great? Isn't that fucking great?
But part of that is like, how much has craft beer evolved in a very short period of time. So it was really exciting to do that. And I met great people like Hendo, like Chris Sheehan, who's on the advisory group. I met him, he was a cheese judge. So even though he's a brewer at Yamundi, so we started talking, and also had some meetings with Matt Kierkegaard in regards to bringing it back. So we ended up doing that in 2019. So that was really exciting. So that was, and it's just grown from strength to strength. And then COVID hit, and then basically we're all put on JobKeeper, and then the TAFE course came up, and I thought I can sit at home for 3 days a week, because I was working 2 days a week, and then sit at home for 3 days a week, or I could go and do the TAFE course. So I got on to Hendo and said, yep, keen to do it. So, and then that just sort of snowballed. In the back of my head was always, the Operation Brewery, you got to know how to brew good beer. So I ended up doing the course. I loved it. Didn't know how to brew beer at all when I first walked in the door. So it was a real learning experience for me. And then basically, come end of JobKeeper, they stripped out a level of management at the Ekka. So got made redundant there. So then sort of decided, well, it's now or never. So I ended up getting a job as a brewer at All In at Banyo. And that's really a great place. They've got every bell and whistle in regards to sea boxes, all centrifuge, the whole works. So really, real debt of gratitude to Chris there for putting me on, because I went for an interview for an assistant brewer's role, and he said, you're overqualified. I'm going, yeah, but every brewer's job is saying you need 2 to 3 years experience. So in the end, he gave me a trial as a brewer. So I fell in love with it. And then was sort of looking at, so in that period, Daniel and I sort of got together with Hendo, sort of putting us together in regards to our plans.
So you'd stayed in touch with Hendo throughout that time, or how did?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Hendo and I always sort of caught up with beers. I nearly bought a cafe and was turning into a craft beer bar. So I sort of realised I didn't have enough funds to actually do it myself.
Yeah. Right.
And then he sort of talked me out of that, and then he put me in contact with Daniel, and then so Daniel and I caught up actually at Black Ops Brisbane, and sort of started talking about our thoughts and philosophies and everything like that. Actually went and had a look at a site that I had my eye on, which unfortunately fell through, which would have been a cracker. But yeah, in the end, we sort of sat down, realised that we were sort of on the same page, and we felt we could work together. I met Daniel in 2019. He was an associate judge at the Beer Awards. So we weren't friends, but we were acquaintances, and sort of kept in touch, and then sort of worked out. Daniel really wanted to be the head brewer. Like, I love brewing, but I'm still got my old plates on, and I'm more business orientated. So we sort of worked out Daniel be the head brewer. I'd sort of run the business as well as help out with brewing. So we sort of built a shareholders agreement based on that philosophy and what we wanted to do. And then we spent a lot of time looking for places. It's hard to find a decent place, that gets through the red tape. I've got a mate who's a town planner. I used to keep sending him these places, and he'd go, "No, it's crap. That's crap." And I'm going, "I'm sure he's just saying it for the sake of it." And then finally one day he went, yeah, no, that's a good site. And I went, okay. and then it was on. So, because like there was ones that was like, no, it's in a flood zone. We actually were looking at a place in 17 Mile Rocks. A mate of mine was going to buy a set of commercial units there. So, and it was only like a stone's throw away from Lee's new place. So, you know, so we had a chat with Lee very drunkenly at the German club one night, said, hey, we're thinking about just being up the road. He was super excited, but in the end that fell through. But my town planner kept saying, no, flood zone. I'm going, it's never going to flood in Brisbane again. Like it's, you know, not 30 years.
Famous last words.
Yeah,
You got to
exactly.
send that town planner some beer.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so in the end, we landed on a site in Salisbury on the top of a hill, so which was very, very, very good. And also, you know, it's like quite a large site. It's 800 square meters, and the lease, like, it's a really run down shed, but the rent was good. Nice open floor. A little bit hot in summer, but anyway, we'll worry about that come summer because we can't afford to put extractor fans in just yet. So,
so you got your location up in Salisbury there. It's a bit of a stone's throw from the Ballistic Brewery. It's becoming. I think that if you're open later this year, I know this weekend is the Bermuda Triangle, which is Ballistic, Helios, and Slipstream.
Nice.
So this should be the last year. It's an actual triangle. Next year it should be like a parallelogram or a rectangle or something obtuse.
Yeah. The other Adam Shell keeps making jokes about it. So
yeah. So
I've actually had someone from one of those breweries suggest that we kick out one of the other ones and keep it as a triangle.
Oh wow, controversial. Go on.
Okay.
I won't name names. No, it's a joke.
So tell us about what your conversation, your shared philosophy, that conversation you had at Black Hops Brisbane. What was some of the things that you really sort of resonated with each other on?
You want to go, Daniel?
Yeah, I guess we both had the same ideas in terms of a business model. Neither of us wanted to get huge and send our beer all over the country or anything like that. We sort of wanted to focus on being a local brew pub, somewhere that's family friendly, pet friendly, all of that gear, and really make it a destination for locals and obviously also people from other parts of Brisbane as well. And also, I guess our thoughts on the brewing side of things. Again, we were basically on exactly the same page in that we didn't have any particular styles or origins of beer that we wanted to focus on. We both really enjoy the variety of different styles and flavors and that can come from beer, and we sort of wanted to obviously have a core range that was approachable and reliable for customers, but also wanted to explore all of the different flavors that you can get from beer. So we sort of chatted through our brands as well. Like I already had my Gypsy brand, and Phil had already come up with his brand, which was Hiker. And so going into it, I was like, this isn't going to happen unless we call it Ornith. Like that's what I want.
Oh, what was your one?
Ornith.
Ornith.
ORNITH. Yeah, so it's a bird themed brand. But as soon as we started chatting, I quickly realized, we're completely on the same page here, and I actually really liked what Phil had come up with for his brand. Unsurprisingly, he's more of a business marketing person than I am, so yeah, we went from there.
What does the Hiker thing mean, Phil?
Oh, hiker. It's just that I like hiking. So, and it's more about like beer is also, for every occasion. So I like having a beer after exercise or those type of things. So it's really a philosophy of also around provenance. So we're going to be really transparent in regards to where all our ingredients come from. So whether they're hops from Yakima Valley, but we just want to be transparent about that. But it's more, I think it's more, I've just, I sort of love hiking, and it was just like a cool name. And I wanted something short and sharp.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun. But yeah, so, and it was sort of like.
It took me a second.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get it.
Well, his last name's Sharp.
Fuck's sake. Hendo, cut that out of the video.
So we just wanted something like really short. Like you look at like Bolter, Hawker, sort of one of that ER. And yeah, I was hiking one day and I just came up with hiker. So
it's a very easy word to say. I think that's the best test of a good brand is to fit into a sentence, nice and easy to someone understand what you said when you said it. Yeah, and and that's why I'm already envisaging like our takeaway fridge, take a hike, that type of stuff. So there's a good couple of plays that we can do on that. You might have to be careful with ABAC.
What's the ABAC?
Yeah, has to be after hiking, not
after hiking. That's why like on some of our branding we've got like a tent, so it's like at the campsite. Right. Yeah. So it's more it's just something. And then like the concern, like everyone asked me, oh, why concern? And I just sort of liked it's a little bit different than company. And then
Big
like
Shed has that as well, don't they?
Yeah,
Big Shed.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I like it. It sounds kind of old school.
Yeah. So, and also a concern is too, it also sort of worked out really well with Daniel and I coming together, because the concern is like two sort of companies coming together. So I thought there's a bit of synergy there. So, really happy with the brand. And also Daniel couldn't win because his wife, Lisa, really liked my brand. So,
oh dear.
Well, I have to agree. I think Ornate sounds like a difficult one. It sounds like it's a hard word to say, and even I had to ask you what you said when you said it. So I think you made the right choice. You're right.
I get that every single time. So yeah.
So where are you currently at with the brewery, and when can I get a beer?
So we're well into sort of preparing the space at the moment. We've got a cold room, and we started cutting up the floors last week. Electrical work is mostly done, and plumbing and drainage work is about to begin. And then obviously after that, concreting.
Have you got any stainless steel yet?
Not yet. It's in production. So yeah, it's being built. So
you've ordered your stainless steel?
Yeah, we've ordered it. So yeah, it's going to be a 3-vessel, 10-hect brew house. And
I'm looking at a blueprint of it right now. If you guys are listening, want to learn more detail, you've put it all up on your website.
Yeah, it's all up there. Yeah, Phil's written some great blog posts about
the blog's been really planning. Good.
Yeah. And we wanted to get some more equipment, but just shipping costs out of China at the moment are just ridiculous. So we really had to sort of play Tetris with containers to try and get as much as we could into 2 40-footers rather than 3 40-footers. Because I think it's only going to get worse.
What have you had to compromise with that?
Really, in the end, it was like a couple of 20 hex, like the double batches. So it's going to really. Yeah, so it's going to really sort of fermenter fleet. Yeah, so it's really going to constrain us, but we figure we'll just get up and running. And if we run out of beer, that's a good problem to have. Yeah. So we can contract brew or do something else. So
keep your we just pro brew or someone else might be selling some smaller ones and getting some bigger ones.
Yeah, we've been having a look, because like one of the biggest concerns I've got is in regards to like canning. So like just only having a small fleet and getting like craft punks in. We're actually going to be we'd actually reduce our capacity by holding up beer to actually get the variety. So we're looking at some options there. There was a couple of brights for sale out at Darra, but that's gone quiet. So we're looking at that to store beer, to bring craft punks in and stuff like that. But there's a couple of other options. There's Kegland have now got a little mini canning machine for like 19 grand or something like that. So that we can sort of do different things. But yeah, so we're definitely looking at options, and that's the challenge. Like with building a brewery, you're so focused on building it, you think that's the end, but it's not the end. It's just the beginning. Then you got to run the bloody thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
But at least if you're both in tune on what the end looks like, if you're not trying to actually get it bigger than a certain point, then you know where to draw the line on things like tank size and how flashy the equipment is and whatnot.
Exactly, and that's one of the big things. Like, because we've got such a large space, our whole brewery production area is one straight line. So we can really tell the story, like from milling all the way through. So it's not sort of things hidden there. So that's one of the big sort of things that we're really focused on, is telling the story of how beer is made as part of the process. So, and then we've got plenty of room, so we can put plenty more fermenters in. So, and sort of, early on dabbling with the idea of letting sort of gypsy brewers or something buy their own fermenters and put, rent space out, and then hire our brew house to actually do that. So there's all sorts of different models that we're looking at to make sure that we've got a sort of sustainable business, moving forward.
How many tanks did you end up with?
5 10 hex.
Oh, that'll get you going, eh?
Yeah. It's not ideal. We originally wanted to get 4 10s and 2 20s, I think. But yeah, we'll manage to begin with, and hopefully we can pick up some secondhand stuff. So.
And you mainly want to sell kegs via the venue,
yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then
I think you'd be fine with that, because you're still talking 50 heck. What's that? Like, that's 50,000. Oh, sorry, 5,000 times 52 divided by 3. It's 80 odd thousand litres a year.
Yeah, and
it's not bad if it's going through your own bar and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
we're definitely not going to hit that in the first year, or probably even the second, to be honest. But I guess it's more about the number of tanks and the cycle time and variety of beers we can have going. And I guess the big thing was canning. Like Phil and I talked about that a bit. Having Scotty come out to do a run would be great, but if we're doing half a tank of each beer, we have to have 4 beers ready at once.
Yeah,
to do a minimum.
And you're held up until that goes in the can.
Exactly. So it really constrains the capacity. But yeah, our break-even point, I think last time I looked, was about 35,000 litres. So in year one. So I think that's definitely doable. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And sorry, I kind of interrupted with looking at the blueprint. Did you give an answer for how the progress is?
Yeah, so that's being built at the moment. So it's due to be completed sort of mid-June. So, and then it'll just be, I suppose, just shipping out of China, because a few of the ports are shut at the moment and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that our biggest critical path is really going to be the DA with good old Brisbane City Council. So our path at the moment is to get everything ready for the stainless steel to sort of plug and play. And if it gets delayed a bit, I'm not too concerned by that, because once it hits the shores, we start paying lease payments. So if it gets delayed a month or two while we get through the red tape, that's probably in our advantage, really. So.
And do you have to wait for the brewery to be sort of fully operational before opening up, or can you open up as a tap room for a couple of weeks or months?
It's certainly an option. Like, I think, I think we'll probably have the brewery up and running before we can open, just because of the time, the time it's taken us to submit our DA for various reasons. We only submitted that about a month ago, so that's likely to be the critical path, as Phil said. So yeah, we probably will be making beer before we're actually allowed to open. But
Yeah.
if for some reason it happens the other way around, like I think for sure we'd look at doing a contract brew and opening up for patrons, like whichever comes first, I guess.
Yeah, and the beauty of like we'll be going for the new artisan license, so we'll be able to sell other artisan Queensland artisan, beers and wine and spirits at our venue. So that may
that definitely gives you a pathway for opening up sooner, and even with some other Queensland product.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. So
the tap room is part of the GA change of purpose as well. That's the only thing. So we need that approved before we can operate the tap room as well.
Yeah,
and pretty much we've ticked every box. Like our town planner said, we ticked every box except for car parking. So anyway, and we've got, how many was it? 23 car parks.
Wow.
And but we need 30 odd. So it's just crazy.
Oh, come on. What is it with fucking town planners and car parking? It's just like ridiculous. You see some places. I've been to some breweries. It's one, I think it was Parchment. It was like, under, being all DA and that's something. There's no fucking parking around there at all.
No, but we found out because we argued that point, and he basically said if it's in a city, they're exempt. So if you're within a certain,
they fucking make this shit up as they go.
Make the shit up.
I've always wondered that. I've always thought of all these breweries that have zero car parking and wondered how on earth they get through. And like if you're in inner city, like a ring of inner city suburbs, you don't need any car parking at all.
So how many car parks do you need? 30 something?
Oh, it was high 30s. So basically the traffic engineer that we brought on, I was chatting to him about it, and he basically said that's the requirement for you to just be a tick and flick. Council doesn't even bother looking at it, right? Not many people reach that requirement. Most people don't, and council then looks at it, and you basically need to plead your case on why you've got enough car parking for your purpose. So that's the go. It basically just means that it's something council will look into. So
how big is the tap room?
The tap room, the seating space itself, I think we're looking at about 200 square meters, maybe a bit more to begin with. Big. Yeah, fairly big. Yeah, we're sort of working on a peak load of 150 people to begin with.
That's probably fair.
So not expecting it to be huge, but council will look at it. I think hopefully we've pled our case pretty well with the report that our traffic engineers put together. So we'll see how we go.
Nice. And how are you going about doing the tap room fit out and all that kind of stuff? Are you guys working with someone, or you got your own ideas, or?
So that's we've been working through a few ideas ourselves. Basically, when someone says if you want to build a brewery, have a budget and double it, it's definitely true. I just went, no, it can't be right. I spent so much time working through the financial models. Yeah. And then it's so pretty much at the moment I've got I'm lucky my daughter's dating a chippy, so that's going to come in handy doing the toilet blocks and things like that, which we need to do. Also got another mate who I trekked Kokoda with, who's got a mobile sawmill, so he's going to do all our tables and chairs.
Oh, that's cool.
So I've got a few mates sort of that are going to help out. My brother's going to do the paddles and those type of things. So so we're really leaning on friends and family, and also it's really good. Our plumber, he did. My brother does treks to Kokoda, and he did a trek, and he goes, "Oh, just give this plumber a call. He's a good guy." So, and he's the president or whatever of the Mountain Goat trail running group. So he's right into craft beer. He's always had a fantasy of having his own brewery. So he's living his dream through us at the moment. So he's loving it. I just feed him Black Hops beer every time he comes to the brewery because I get my like staff allowance, and like he just rocks up and like, yeah, let's have a beer and just chat through things. So yeah, Jason's been really good. So yeah, but yeah, so I think it's more just like leaning on people we know, but definitely got ideas in regards to the look and feel, but it's just all going to come down to budget because the other part is we've got a little grass area out the side that we can turn into a beer garden, and had plans of putting a shipping container commercial kitchen there, but it all comes down to money. So that's going to be like year 2 or year 3 once we get sort of moving. So we'll just do the food truck thing to begin with, and then been chatting to a few mates in the sort of food truck business in regards to how we best do that. So we get it, sublease it, that type of thing, rather than running it ourselves, because I wouldn't have the first clue about running a bloody kitchen. So
I like it when they do that, when they kind of lease out the kitchen to another restaurant group. It's fun.
Yeah, and what sort of we wanted to do was like put it at the front of the beer garden, so it could be a dark kitchen for Uber Eats and stuff like that. So they wouldn't actually have to come into the venue for the Uber drivers and stuff like that. So if you can find quite an entrepreneurial, chef or something like that who wants to sort of start out on his own, it's potentially a good option for them. So, but anyway, that's probably year 2 or 3 after we buy more tanks. As Hendo says, like, breweries are very capital intensive, and to grow you sort of need to spend lots of money. That's why he's smart and is just a consultant, not just a consultant.
That's why he doesn't invest in equity crowdfunding campaigns. If you can hear my dog barking, it's this little fucker's just sitting there and barking. He does his little barks. So yeah. So that's what that is.
I couldn't hear that, but he's very cute.
If you hear a little noise, he thinks he's a guard dog. But yeah. So are you? Do you have sort of investors and whatnot, or are you just kind of doing it yourself and seeing what you can afford to pull together?
Yeah. So at the moment it's just Daniel and myself. So so we're just so we're just seeing how far we can go. Like, we want to go as far as we can go before we actually reach out if we need investors. So the more we build and the more we've got there is, the more we've got to show, and the less equity we'd actually have to give up. So so we're just sort of, we're watching our pennies very, very closely. But that's, like, some of our budget items have blown out. Like, I think we budgeted 40K for electrical, and that's already up to 90. So it's like, it's just the nature of the beast. Yeah.
So everything is so expensive at the moment too. Like, I don't know if this is affecting you, but just everything that comes across my desk is more expensive than we thought it would be, and it's kind of terrifying. Breweries aren't putting their prices up because you become uncompetitive, but everything else is going up.
Yeah, because I got some high level costs from in regards to when we sort of did our financial plan. Like, I did it before I met Daniel, but sort of use that as a base, but everything's sort of probably gone up at least 20%, if not more, on every single line item. So, like, our contingency budget is sort of blown at the moment, and that's where, like, now we're umming and ahhing. Can we, like, polish the floors, concrete floors ourselves, and that type of thing? Like, do we have a couple of working bees and get people, to come and give us a hand on a few things? But really, and that's what I mean. We've sort of been leaning on, sort of family and friends to give us a hand in regards to sweat labor. So, but no, we'll get there. Like, I don't think it's going to be, and I think we cut out the outside area from, basically near the beginning, because I was still working on this idea of the beer garden and stuff like that. And then I went, there is no way we're going to afford that. So just shelved it. And now we're focusing on inside, and really then, like, how can we squeeze the lemon in regards to what we can do? And we'll get there. Well, like, it's going to be tight, but we're confident that we'll get, unless we've pretty much like got all the major expenses out the way, or know what they are. I'm pretty sure, except for shipping out of China, really is the only thing that works.
Which, fingers crossed, you would hope that would go down by the time yours ships.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
diesel
don't know about that,
prices
but-
are up because of the war. Like,
Mm.
like everything's, I actually think it's going to go up even further. But I'm a bit of a pessimist with that sort of stuff. But anyway, that's probably the. I don't think there's any other big costs, Daniel, that that are unknown at the moment.
No, I think we're looking all right. Like there's obviously a lot of little things that'll add up towards commissioning and opening time, but I think it looks like we'll make it through with just the two of us, which is good.
And we got a free forklift, so that's great.
Yeah.
What? How the fuck do you get a free forklift?
Free beer to the next door neighbour who's got a forklift.
Oh, that's nice. Just be
Oh.
really nice to them because they might get sick of that arrangement.
No, they only use their forklift 3 times a year, supposedly. So,
Really?
Like,
Really?
That's a
Yeah.
score.
Pretty good.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
one less thing
yeah.
to worry about.
I was certainly against the idea of having too many shareholders, based on some previous experience in the industry, and like I always, which is why I sort of wanted to be just me to begin with. But yeah, like, and Phil's the same. We both sort of wanted to hopefully keep it between the two of us if possible, and it looks like we'll be able to pull that off. So it's pretty
Well,
exciting.
yeah, you don't really ever want to give up equity unless you absolutely have to, really.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
But I suppose if you do have to, you can find investors. If you find the right ones, it's not as hard as it needs to be.
Yeah.
Oh, we've already had
Yeah.
people knocking on the door, so like, so it wouldn't be difficult. So if we wanted to, but yeah, we just want to see how far we can take it without that. And then we can sort of look at different options, down the track if we need to.
Awesome. All right. Well, if you need anything, let us know. Do you
Yeah,
have any more-
I'll come and I'll do a busy bee.
Yeah, I'll come and polish some floors. It's been a while since I've done that.
I'll just borrow Alex from work for about a week. That'll be
No,
great.
no. If you need anything else, let me know. Not having Alex.
So tell us
Yeah.
about, Phil, your this blog post that you did a couple of weeks ago, where it's called "Beer Competitions: Is a Gold Medal Really a Gold Medal?" What was the background behind that, and sort of takes into consideration your background, having run the Royal Queensland Food and Wine Show Beer Awards for a few years and restarting it. And also what Dan had said last week, whereby you don't win a gold medal, you earn it.
Awarded.
You are
awarded a gold medal.
Yeah, no, definitely. And
so tell us about that.
Yeah. So it's funny, when I started running competitions, I couldn't get over the fact that there was all these gold medals. In there's 7 different food and wine, or food and beverage, as I like to call it, because it's called the Food and Wine Beer Awards, which is bizarre. So yeah, I'd never really understood it. I just thought it was, the general public don't really understand. A gold medal, they watch the Olympics, they watch the Commonwealth Games, whatever. A gold medal means you came first. So,
yes.
and it's so, and then you see breweries and stuff like that saying we won a gold medal, which is great, because gold means you've brewed a world-class beer. So there's no demeaning that the beer is not good, but they didn't actually win it. So, and out of, this year's, I actually had a look at the results catalogue, which had the Black Hops winning the wrong award. But
we had a VB situation almost.
Yeah.
It was for a couple of hours though.
Yeah. So, but anyway, and it is on trend. About 10% of entries win a gold medal. So the top 10% of beers, and it's getting more and more each year as the quality of beer, as the industry matures, it's going to get more and more. So
that 10%, are you? Is that just an anecdotal thing, or is that a statistic?
I think that's stats, man.
Yeah. So out of 500 I've got it here. Out of 571 entries, 55 won the gold medal.
Wow.
So
there you go. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, and that's what I mean. And it's funny, and it's really moved for, in 2019, the first reinvigorated Queensland Beer Awards, I think we had 17 medals out of 320 25 entries or something, I think, off the top of my head. So that's what I mean. But as the
17
industry
golds.
is getting, 17 golds, it was really small. But as the industry matures and brewers are getting, more experience and better lab equipment and things like that, that standard is rising every year. So you can see in like 5 or 10 years' time, it might be 25% of beers actually winning a gold medal.
Well, they changed the requirements. Maybe it needs to be higher than that.
Well, it's an interesting one because, like, basically, we don't, in the points-based competition, where like the ARBAs and the Queensland shows runs on the 20-point system. So if you get 14 to 15 and a half out of 20, that's a bronze medal. 15 and a half to 17 is a silver, and 17 and above is a gold. And so the idea being is that in a particular class, then there can be a gold medal, multiple gold medals, or none. And there's not a requirement to have any or many. Technically, they could all win a gold medal if they were all good enough. And so it's really challenging, being part of those competitions. Because on the flip side, if you go to a competition like the World Beer Cup, for instance, or the Great American Beer Festival, GABF, that's a first, second, third competition, right? So gold, silver, bronze is first, second, third. And when you have a competition like that, to be fair, I've never judged a first, second, third competition. I'd love to. But apparently the way that they work is there's basically first round, second round judging, where basically the first round is just eliminating beers that just don't deserve to go through. Second round, a little bit more scrutiny is placed on those beers, and then to the final round, which is like, okay, which order do these beers go? Which is first, second, and third, sort of thing.
Is that second round, Hendo? Is that based still on the style?
Yes.
It's not like it's not the judge's preference in regards to I prefer that beer over that beer.
I have heard stories from some of my judging friends who have judged in these competitions about, when they get to the final round where you're trying to work out who wins, who comes second, who comes third, and who doesn't get the medal. Some very heated conversations. And that's something that actually doesn't really happen in the points-based comp judging. Is there's sometimes, you'll pick your hill you're going to die on and go into bat for a beer and that sort of thing. And a lot of times you just go, it's not worth fighting for. Let's just see where it lands medal-wise. So it's a little bit more probably, the point system is probably a little bit more passive from a judge's perspective.
An average of points that you can work off.
Yeah, well, that's right. So exactly. So in the points-based competition, you'll have a panel of usually 4 or 5 judges. They'll each score the beer independently without talking to each other, and then they'll come together with an average. And usually the judges are very well aligned and that sort of thing. And sometimes not so much. And sometimes it might be because it might be a split pour or something like that. And sometimes it might be judge not having a good day. But sometimes, there's a split panel and a judge really goes into bat for a beer, and it's a really interesting one. It'd be very different to rather than determining who comes first, who comes second, who comes third. You would have to argue about some of the minutiae of the beer to come to that decision.
Maybe there's an opportunity for someone in Australia to do a comp like that, because that kind of sounds like it'd be fun.
It's not a bad idea, to be fair. I mean, the only reason why in Australia the competitions kind of follow that trend is they're really just following the ARBA's lead. That's what I think it probably is, and every sort of other competition that's popped up, and they're all run by the state-based, agricultural societies and that sort of thing. And yeah, that's kind of how it works.
With the points, I mean, is there any reason to get back to the 20% gold medals thing? Is there any reason why you can't just increase the 17 to 18 and you have to get 18 to get a gold medal, and then the 20 drops back to 15%?
Okay, here's a really interesting one, right? With this year's Queensland show, right? I was judging some of the imperial stouts and that sort of thing. And we judged. I didn't judge the trophies for it, but I judged it in the first round. And you kind of remember that you remember the really memorable beers and that sort of thing. And one beer crossed our panel that was just fucking amazing. Like literally, the beer was perfect, right? And the panel had all sort of given it a gold medal because it was all a really good beer. And I think our table ended up giving it like a 19 out of 20.
Nice.
Yeah, but why not a 20?
Yeah.
You never give it 20. That's the thing.
Never give it 20.
But that's
19's
bullshit.
fucking high.
That's bullshit, right?
Yeah, I know it is.
I was speaking to years ago. I was speaking to Warren Pawsey, who's the head judge at the ARBAs, and at the start he said, "Don't be shy to give out a 20 out of 20 if you feel a beer absolutely deserves it." And I've never given a 20 out of 20, right? And you know, that beer should have gotten a 20 out of 20. And I won't name the beer, but I really regret not giving that beer a 20 out of 20. It just definitely should have got it. The beer was perfect.
Can you just name it, and then I will agree to edit this afterwards so that no one knows, and then we can do the beep thing because it adds to the drama of the whole.
I've got a pretty good idea of what it was.
I'll just go through the catalogue and find the 19.
Yeah, okay.
Find the 19.
Would have been the Avis. Wait, it's Queensland, right? Okay, do that.
So
Daniel wanted to take a guess of what the beer was.
Do you want me to?
100%.
Go on then.
Was it coup de grace?
Not saying.
Yeah.
What's coup de grace? What beer is that?
That's ballistic.
Okay. Imperial Stout.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, Hendo said
Should've
yeah,
got a
so I
20.
can stitch those two things together and we're done.
Should have got a 20.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Yeah. And like the thing is, right, is that like, and that's like, you know, like Phil had some really good points in his blog post about, you know, being awarded a bronze, silver, or a gold, right? But on the flip side, I've never given a 20 out of 20, and yet I've had a beer pass my palate that should have got a fucking 20 out of 20, right? And that's kind of the other thing that's really sort of problematic about points-based competitions. The really, really, really upper echelon, the top 0.1%. Sometimes you should just hand out a 20 out of 20.
Well,
the
why don't you go through your specific ideas from the article? Because I agree with everything you had in there.
Yeah, no, definitely. So what I sort of said was rather than gold, silver, bronze, the first phase of it is really blue, red, white. So like blue for first, and it's a quality seal. So the general public want to know that they're buying quality beer. So if it's got a blue quality seal, then, you know, that's like first. You know, it's first tier, red, and then white for second and third tier. And then the blues go up for the trophies, and then you have a first, second, and third trophy, gold, silver, bronze. And I really think, because that's what I mean, like at the moment, the gold medal is confusing. People think they've won, you know, all that type of stuff. But it's the whole idea of these beer competitions, there's two things. One is to give feedback to the brewers, like from their peers in regards to, is there faults in the beer, those type of things. The other thing is a marketing point of view. So it's really around, is it, as a general public going into a bottle shop, if I buy that beer, do I know it's quality? You know?
Yeah, and the marketing, I think, becomes a bit like marketers. I mean, I am one myself. You know, we tend to grab anything and want to promote it and use it to our advantage, and it becomes a bit misleading when you. Yeah. You know.
And then I think the other thing is, and I really like what I think it was Sydney Royal do, like for their beer awards. If you win, like at the moment, if you win 3 gold medals, then you get some other award. So say for Code Red, which is one of my favorite beers, it's won gold for 3 years in a row, won 2 trophies, a gold. It probably came second in the trophy. Could have won 3 trophies, but doesn't get recognised. So I'm thinking, if after 3 years you've proven that that product is quality year on year, it should be given a platinum seal. So it actually say it is being consistent over a long period of time.
Yeah.
So
the AIBAs do that sort of thing. They call it the Medal of Consistency. If you win a gold medal 3 years running, you get the Medal of Consistency. And
we're both up for it, aren't we, Hendo, this year? Aren't we?
Are we?
Aren't you?
What do you got?
Code Red, I think, had gold medal last 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great,
didn't
man.
yours as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
IPA from Brownstone.
Kept that quiet. All right.
Oh, you know, I'm quite achiever.
I just thought of something with the seals that I didn't think of before. How would people know the difference between a blue seal and a white and a red?
I think it's more like, so Hendo, correct me if I'm wrong, like gold at the moment, gold is like world-class standard. Red is something, and then bronze is to style. Is that right? So is that
gold, silver, bronze. So bronze is basically broadly matches the style, absent of major faults. That's a bronze.
Yeah.
A silver medal is I can't remember what they can't remember the exact words to it, but it was just like exemplary of the style, you know, exactly matches the style and displays a reasonable level of, you know, technical ability. And then gold medal is a world-class example of the style, which has that X factor, you know, and that sort of thing.
But if you think about the gold, silver, bronze, like that's communicating to a lot of people, it's communicating first, second, and third.
Yes.
But it's communicating that they're all quality. It's quite obvious which one's a higher quality than the other.
Yes.
Whereas
when you start bringing ribbons out, like it's like my mum quilting at the
participation
awards.
No,
my mum is the current reigning champion Queensland quilter at the RNA. I'll have you know.
I know we've discussed it on this podcast.
And they do the ribbon thing. And it's a very common thing across agricultural shows. However, for some reason, and I don't know if it's like this at wine as well, Phil, where it becomes this gold, silver, bronze thing. What's it like with wine? It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely gold, silver, bronze. The only one that's different out of the suite of 7 at the RNA is the branded beef and lamb. It's first, second, third. Purely because the beef is so good, everyone would win a gold medal. So they actually do it. So there's no set philosophy between the shows or anything. So you can basically do anything, you know, come up with your own, you know, methodology. So that's where I found it quite weird that one of the Royal Queensland Food and Wine Show competitions has that first, second, third rather than, you know, multiple.
So you're saying that with the beef awards, that the standard of the industry and what it produces has gotten consistently better, so good over the years that I had to move to a first, second, third.
I'm not sure of the background. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's like that's what you fucking said. And
wow. Fucking getting interrogated here, mate.
But the thing is, if the beer industry is doing the same, if the standard of the beer continues to get better and that sort of thing, maybe that's the direction that we've got to go.
Well, can it not be a hybrid of the two? Like, can it be like instead of a blue, red, white, can it just be like a quality check mark that you get, but you also have first, second, and third, like the
I think that's a good idea. I think just having one quality seal and then like still within the competition, you know what the top one is, because you don't want to go take the silver and like the current silver and bronzes to the trophy rounds. So you could actually split it. But if it's bronze or above, you get a quality seal, and then the rest go to trophies.
I feel like
first, second, thirds.
I'm all about this. I think it's a great idea, but I feel like there's too much of a difference between some bronze medal beers and gold medal beers that like a single quality seal probably.
No, I don't think a bronze would get a quality seal.
Yeah, okay.
I think maybe like a bronze
you're saying just the golds.
like a
So you're
silver and
saying
a gold, maybe. But like
If people don't know what like
A
blue
shiny
and
silver.
white are, maybe we can do like the objective quality of Neapolitan ice cream. So like brown is the best, and
wow,
then white is second, and pink is last.
this is controversial now.
Jesus, so you
I
can
don't
see
know if
that
I
being
want
on the
to. I
fucking
don't know if I want
Facebook
to
group
publish
this
this
week.
on our channel.
Oh no, we've already done Palmy versus Palmer
know.
versus Palmo.
Wait, this could be a poll in the group.
It's definitely palmy, by the way. I just want to throw that in there.
100%. That was just ridiculous, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, what was your order? Chocolate,
Not the
Chocolate,
way that
vanilla,
Dan
strawberry.
spells it though,
palmy Palmer
with a fucking L.
with an L. Yeah. Wait, so chocolate, vanilla, and then pink is the best.
No. Chocolate's the
No.
best.
Chocolate's the best.
Then vanilla, then strawberry.
All right, you guys talk amongst yourself.
man.
I'm putting this in the group.
No one wants
Oh.
strawberry.
I like the strawberry though.
Do you?
Yeah,
Mm.
I would go the vanilla last. I'd put chocolate up top, but then the strawberry, then the vanilla.
Can you do polls in Facebook? You probably can't, can you?
Yeah, you can do polls.
Yeah, you can.
All right. Fucking, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
That's insane. I don't know. I think having like a one quality seal, right? And putting like something that would be considered to be a silver or a gold in that, because the other thing that you risk as well is if you have a class where nothing gets a medal or gets that quality seal, that minimum standard, then the brewers will start to get despondent. And not that you're supposed to, judges and competitions are supposed to pander to the brewers, expectations and that sort of thing. But if it's too hard to win, like the first year of the Queensland comp, if it's too hard to win, it's pretty, it makes it very challenging.
Yeah, because it was
Brewers.
two trophies that weren't awarded in 2019, so which
Yes.
wasn't a great look. So
Yeah, exactly. So, and you can't have it so that everyone gets a fucking trophy or a medal or anything like that either, because then that just devalues the competition itself. So
I blame the hot weather. Remember where it was? It was
Yes.
I was,
Yeah.
I was having
That
a
wasn't a
chat
good.
to,
That wasn't a good year, was it? It was-
I was actually chatting to Sabrina Kunz about this at the Queensland Awards thing, and she had said she's got some good ideas around that because she's done the New Zealand Brewers Guild.
Get her on the pod, mate. We need some
stuff
more
like that.
guests.
Oh, we could do that. Yeah, why not?
You're the expert guest deliverer. So far, you've delivered 4 guests, and I've delivered 0.
Yeah, 4.
I mean,
Is that
4.
it?
Well, I mean, if this counts as 1, I mean, it's obviously not 1; it's 2. But I'm counting
No.
this as 1.
We only done 4 episodes with
I
a
don't know.
guest.
I just made that up. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm doing all right.
You're doing way better than me. I had another idea for these awards. It's not an idea at all. It's more of a question. You may know the answer to it. Why don't they, like, part of going to the awards, right? If you get a gold medal, I understand it's not your first, but it's still a fucking big deal. So like when you go to the ABAs, or I think the Indies do it as well, when they have the award that comes up, they list all the gold medals, right? So
Yes.
when they're about to announce the it's like the Oscars. If they're about to announce the winner, they have the shortlist first. So if you got a gold, you know you're in the running for the shortlist.
Yeah.
And it makes the whole thing, it makes it longer, but it makes it a little bit more engaging because you're kind of like, oh, fuck, I got a gold medal. That's cool. High five. Let's see if I win the trophy. The Queensland one, it was just like trophy. And then the whole thing was over in half an hour.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
I
fair
think they were
point.
trying to kick us out that day as well.
No, it's been
Yeah,
like
it
that
was-
every year.
It was
the
too
same
sunny
thing every year.
It was too sunny.
But you're right. And the ARBAs do that where they read out all of the gold medal winning beers, and there's that tension from, and the nominees are, all these different beers, and then they announce the winner. And it would be good to see that done in the Queensland show and that sort of thing, definitely.
Because most people who go to almost everyone who goes to the Queensland Beer Awards are not winning a trophy. There's only a few. So you go there wanting to know how you went, and you don't hear about how you went until the whole thing's over and they hand around the pamphlet, and you grab the pamphlet and sit there scanning it while you should be socializing with other brewers.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's a really good point.
You gotta have. But the other thing as well is that there has to be some sense of progression as well. You know, I have a lot of clients, you know, who I start to work with who don't do well in competitions, who are very despondent about entering competitions because they get nothing. And even if the standard for getting a bronze medal is if the bar's quite low and they're still not getting something, then there has to be some sense of progression of this beer is improving over time. This year it won a bronze medal. Next year it wins a silver. Maybe it'll win a gold next year. I've got some area to improve and that sort of thing, you know.
It's also extremely expensive. So if you start weighing it up, if you're doing 3 awards, doing the Indies and ABAs and the local beer awards every year, and you're not getting any publicity or anything out of it in terms of the feedback, you're just getting bronze medals, you're spending a shitload of money on beer awards and not getting a lot for it.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was our strategy with the Queensland one, was to try and keep the price down. So I think it's $80 an entry, whereas ABA's, it's crazy. It's based on how big the brewery is.
The Indies is fucking expensive too.
Is it?
Crazy expensive, yeah.
Yeah, so we've always tried to keep it down. And that's where it was good. Like that first year we had SEQ Water, or the first 2 years, SEQ Water is our major sponsor with the D-Cell competition. That's where we tried to really try and look at how we could actually sort of engage with that. And their whole strategy was, D-Cell for a few years and then recycled water, because everyone remembers.
I wanted to do the recycled water thing. It's a bloody great. I kept telling the guys.
You could do a collab with Amber Heard.
I said, dude,
brown. Do it.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Like, did you recycle water? Every fucking brewer is going to do a brown ale and give it some sort of poop name, you know? I'm sure SEQ Water would have just gone, that's not going to do anything for our
just
reputation.
Like you said, making a gozer out of the desalinated water.
Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious.
Putting salt.
It's the resalinated water, but I think that was a bloody good idea. And that recycled water is nothing. If you go to Europe, all the bloody water's recycled.
But there is a recycled water beer competition in California. So and that was the whole.
Sounds a bit shit.
So
is it all fucking browners? Dan,
I'm sorry.
No, that was part of the long-term plan. What we were going to do was to actually send the winner California to actually to actually compete in that competition. But SEQ Water, I don't know where recycled water is up to with the Queensland government at the moment. I think they're a bit of trouble with hospital ramping or something like that, or ambulance ramping. So it's
I was going to say the first Queensland Beer Awards was that I recognise your face now, Daniel. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the year when Catchment had the beers when you entered the awards? Do you remember?
As in,
like when you walk in and they have beers that they just hand you and you don't even really know what they are.
Oh, yeah, no, that was the year before I started at Catchment. Okay, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Because
that year we walked in there and we're just handed a beer and it's like, oh sweet, here's your beer. And oh sweet, this is awesome. And then one person randomly asked, what is it? And it's it's a fucking 9% triple IPA. And we're just sitting there.
I remember that.
It's an IPA.
Yeah. Take a glass of champagne. It's 9%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Andrew Sides that brewed that one. It would have been 2018, just before I started. Yeah.
So where was that at? That wouldn't have been the beer awards, because that was 2019.
Maybe it was the Beeries. Maybe it might have been
the Beeries. I think
it was the Beeries.
Yeah,
it was the Beeries.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we need to bring back the Beeries. How do
we do
that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, it was the guy who had beer inside it, wasn't it? So that was
Marty.
Back to
Marty Keatles. Yeah,
he's out of the industry though, isn't he? Now he's doing some.
Yeah, he tried to sell it. He tried to sell beer insider pre-COVID. So obviously festivals aren't, haven't done well over the last couple of years. So they need to bring it back. And that was always, I think the plan with the Queensland Beer Awards was to gradually grow it, to then do a one-day conference, and then bring in awards dinner and stuff like that. Because I think it's the third biggest beer competition in Australia now. So, the Queensland brewing industry is really going from strength to strength.
Well, you should chat to the current champion Queensland brewers, because they used to own Gabs.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
Mm.
I'm still sore. Still sore about that.
Mm. You need a
Well,
hug,
that's-
Dan.
I
So
do
that
need
was
a hug.
the other comment, I suppose. Like Dan, like when we chatted in the lunchroom the other week, was the biggest issue that Queensland's got. Like, it's the Royal Queensland Beer Awards. Every other state is Sydney Royal, Adelaide Royal. It's all capital city names, but Queensland, like Brisbane, uses Queensland, so it's a real barrier. And particularly, like, you should see the wine committee. They hate the name because everyone thinks that it's just Queensland wines, whereas it's only like 2% Queensland wines, and the rest is from the rest of Australia. And then we have grape grazing, where people come and basically can sample all the wines from the competition, and everyone, a lot of people walk in thinking it's only Queensland wines, but it's actually a smorgasbord from all over Australia. So,
but it's also I guess the point I was making it's all the Queensland brewers. It's really the only time the Queensland brewers get together to celebrate, quality beer making. And every year you'd come and like Sydney Brewery would win, the best beer,
some trophy.
and it's
Best
just like
lager.
to me it doesn't make any sense. No, not being a hater at all. Like, their beer is amazing, but it's like, either don't call it Queensland Beer Awards or just make it Queensland only.
Or do.
Yeah, I think that's the catch-22. Like, like the show societies are trying to make, speaking out of school, are trying to make as much money as they can. So, like, spreading the net as far and wide across Australia, they can obviously get more entries. And
can you just call it
So
the
economies
Eka Beer Awards?
could do. Well, I don't
Maybe.
work there anymore, so
Can we
Oh,
just,
no. We're just brainstorming ideas here. All right.
can we make
Well-
show societies like a federal thing, and then each state has their own beer awards, and then there's one national one?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I've been.
but
I've been
then you wouldn't be able to enter the ABAs because that's really Victoria.
well, that's called
Well-
Melbourne Royal now.
Yeah, Melbourne.
Yeah.
Royal, yeah.
They change it.
They did. Yes, they're not the RASV anymore. It's Melbourne Royal.
But still,
So, yeah.
ABAs.
It's still the Australian International Beer Awards. Yes.
Right.
That
So
must
that's
be
the
a
thing you've
I'm
got
actually-
there above your left shoulder there.
that
is
must
still
be
gonna
a-
the same.
That's right.
That must be a massive cash cow for them. Like, because
Well-
2,600 entries.
Yeah,
Right.
at an average of around $180 a pop.
Yeah,
Calculating that right now.
I mean, what
Good
sort of
coin.
numbers you got there?
it's good
A
coin.
couple of
Almost
$500,000.
5 million? No, 500,000.
500,000.
Yeah. That's not really a lot. I mean, it would cost a lot to fucking put that thing on, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I guess
Yeah,
you got,
and
you
then
got
they've
the
got,
dinner
then
and
they've got the
everything.
dinner
It's
as well,
$1,200
which is
a
200.
table
It's
for
200.
dinner.
Yeah, 200. No, it's $2,000 this year.
Well,
yeah,
for
$2,000. Yeah,
$2,000. Well, for a table of what, 10?
10. Yeah.
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 And there's 800 odd people that go to that.
Well, stand by.
What do we got
16
there?
grand. Does that sound right? 20 bucks.
160.
No, wait, 160 grand.
Hang on.
What is it? $200 a head, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
160, yeah.
Yeah, 160. Yeah.
That's a pretty decent revenue. And,
Yeah.
there's some costs associated with that. You got to put a few judges up and pay for taxis for judges and
But you got the food and everything as well.
food and everything as well. Yeah. Yeah.
And that a
It's not
comedian
cheap.
one year. Do you reckon they'll do that again? That was
Oh,
pretty good.
that dude who was just like that comedian who comes on and he just wanted everybody to be absolutely silent to listen
That's
to him.
true.
He'd
It
go,
didn't work.
remember
Yeah.
remember he was like that year is just going, shh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't
There's a
just
lot.
get on with it and just people would just pay attention to him. He was like, he would make people stop talking, then he would start talking. It was so frustrating.
Well, it's just a room full of beer people. It, that gets
Who
difficult.
haven't seen each other in bloody ages and that sort of thing. So
To be fair,
yeah.
I was there that year. I reckon the crowd was pretty disrespectful, but at the same time, they were really like waiting for complete silence. It was a bit of a joke.
I
was never gonna happen.
thought it was a good change. I just thought, I don't know, get a comedian in there, just like, cause you're sitting there listening to beer people talk about beers. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, is it?
No.
as long as you get a fucking comedian, as long as they're not cringy and shit.
Yeah.
So, well, what else you got on the list there, Dan?
All right. Well, do you guys want to stick around for the news, or should we wrap it up there? And
Stick around because we just got to talk shit
Yeah.
and laugh. at stuff. So
All right. Well, you guys, you can leave
especially
whenever
when we
you
get
want to leave.
12
These things tend
questions
to
from the
drag on.
12
Oh, that's fine.
listeners.
All right.
I'd love to hear
Well,
the news.
So what normally happens is I pull together a list of news items. I send them through to Hendo about 3 minutes before the show.
2.5 this week.
So this week, actually, the most latest one only came into my inbox this afternoon, which is the IBA's Indies 10-year roadmap,
Yeah,
which I've just put here to hold off until next week because it's a big ass document.
because I want to read it. Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. So I'll link to it in the show notes because it's a PDF document that people can download and check out.
The craft beer 2031 was something like that. I think it was called. So
yeah. So if you if you want to watch show notes for this podcast, Hendo, what would you do?
you can go to bostonthebrewer.com. I think can we post the show notes we don't post it in the Facebook group, but if you want to join the
polls, I've already posted the Neapolitan poll.
If you want to do if you want to join the conversation, head to facebook.com/groups/Boston the Brewer. Come and join the conversation. You have to answer the entry question to get admitted to the group, which is who are the hosts of the Boston the Brewer? Wrong answers only.
Yep.
There's been some fucking good ones.
You should screenshot those because I don't see a lot of those. I think you're too busy approving people.
Yeah. There's always a few good ones there. Usually there's like people say Elon Musk all the time. I look nothing like him. Exactly. That's so weird.
Well, he owns Twitter now, so
he does. And he would have had a very similar haircut to you, except that his hair just miraculously came back.
Yes. Hey, when
unfortunate for him. So.
Here's a question. When Phil, you and Phil, Dan working together at Queensland Rail, Phil, did you have hair then?
No.
I shaved off.
You look exactly the same as you look now.
Yeah, no, I 95. I bought my clippers. They only just died last week or the week before, so I put a memorial.
They lasted
up
nearly
on,
30 years, 27 years.
Yeah, my brother put a shit post up going, well, I didn't get much use, so.
Wow. That's amazing.
Wow.
Actually, before we get into the news, we already have, but I did have up the front here a mention of Gabs Brisbane, which is it's not next weekend, is it? So it's the weekend after. It's Saturday week.
Saturday week, yes.
And we might have. Can we announce the merch or not? Not really. Is that too? Are we going to have merch? I've not had a lot to do with this.
Well, neither have I. So, we've got some designs for some merch. So I suppose it's up to Paul whether we actually get the merch. Have we green lighted it?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't even know.
All right. Well, Paul from Lotsa Group is the sponsor. He's sponsoring this episode, and he might give us shirts. And Craig is designing the merch. And it's going to be 4 Gabs, and it's going to say 1 of the 12 on the back. And it's got my head and Hendo's head, Boston the Brewer on the front, which is obnoxious as shit, but it wasn't my idea.
No, I never wanted to be on a beer label either.
No.
Until you fucking did that, Dan.
Yeah, I didn't ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Oh, is that for bandwagon?
Yeah. And now we're on a fucking t-shirt.
All right. Now, one more shout out before the news. This isn't technically news, but we've got in the Facebook group, if you go there and join, you'll see a poll, which I'll link to in the show notes. And it's a prediction about how much Drink West will raise in their crowdfunding.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So Drink West is Tai Tuivasa, the Shui UFC fighter guy. And Nathan Cleary, I think, is it?
Panthers.
That's hilarious. They had such great profile photos of all of them.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh, with their dogs and whatever. Like,
I love the photo with Tai Tuivasa. He's not got one can. He's just double stacked fucking two.
That's awesome. So they're trying to raise $5 million, and the poll. Well, it's not a poll. It's like guess how much they're going to raise. Actually, I don't think we've offered a prize, have we? I should offer a prize.
Do we have prizes?
A shirt. Get a shirt.
In fact, a t-shirt.
Get a t-shirt. All right.
Phil Sharp, I know that guy, said
very smart.
900K.
Okay. Phil says 900. Ryan Fullerton says 350. I said 1.5. Hendo said 1.2.
Yeah.
Sam said hopefully $0. I didn't like that because I feel like that's a bit hateful. Now, someone said, Dave Croft said they'll go the whole way.
What was the target?
5.
5 million. What was
That
yours,
one's-
Dan? Like, what was so yours was 2.2?
2.2, and that was the biggest ever for a brewery. So, and I think
Yeah.
James Arthur Davidson says, I think they will hole them out and break the record. So yeah,
We'll see. If you've got a guess, go follow the show notes and follow the link and give us your opinion.
100%. All right, first article, Coopers. Oh, I'll put these little articles in the Zoom chat so you guys can see them if you want to. Coopers to build a $50 million brewery and distillery. Yeah, look at this one, Hendo.
Yeah. Sweet.
Looks
I'm going to
sick.
Adelaide tomorrow. Will it be ready?
100%.
Fucking sweet. They have done a lot, Coopers, in the last few years. They've built their maltings.
Yeah.
Making some pretty good malt there, and it's a very state-of-the-art maltings. I've only made one beer with Cooper's malt. It turned out pretty good. And
that's making all of the malt for all of their beers, right?
oh yeah, totally. They're just doing all their own malt now, and
The vertically
it's all this
integrated.
vertical integration, exactly. And so they're going to build I think their little brewery is a fucking big one.
3,000, 3,200.
So the small breweries are 30 hectares.
Yeah. Microbrewery.
Yeah, microbrewery.
Well,
Good
that's
on
the one
ya.
in the image. If you look at the images look incredible. It's like in the
Yes.
front. It's like a big fucking
Yeah,
brewery.
it looks great. Some fermenters there and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like it. I'd go visit it
100%.
when
I
I'm in
love it.
Adelaide.
Did you see so they're also making whiskey, and they're
Yep.
making it, they've got an underground fucking whiskey cellar.
What a top idea.
That's cool as
This
shit.
sounds like my kind of place.
I agree. Anyone else want to weigh in on the Coopers thing? Do we like Coopers? Like that announcement? It looks cool too.
Mm.
The building looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys drink Coopers?
Where's the land coming from? They have a lot of
Yeah,
land
They
there.
must have so much money. They just print money. It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
very good business. Do you guys drink
See you
Coopers?
one day if you fucking dream it. I think the funny thing is, right, what I find funny about Cooper's marketing is they keep going after Stone and Wood as their competition, and I don't see them as the same beer.
No.
You know, like it was a bit of a tit for tat thing as well, because I think Cooper's came out with a Pacific Ale, and then Stone and Wood decided to go the original Pacific Ale, and then Cooper's clap back on the billboards and stuff that says always original or
Yeah.
forever original. And
Brilliant.
it's just like, guys, you're not even the same beer. Just
No,
don't
but I think
argue.
Stone and Wood did kind of get all their taps, didn't they? A lot of them in Queensland anyway.
when with the lion thing.
No, just being more relevant, I think.
Yeah.
Like every pub in Queensland used to have like one or two taps that weren't, 4X or VB or whatever.
Yeah.
And it'd be Cooper's Pale, Cooper's Green.
Yes.
And now, or let's say 2-3 years ago, it was just pack ale.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now it's different. You got Bolter and you got a few independents here and there, but they kind of did. I imagine they took away from Cooper's in that respect.
I like sparkling better than green.
The reds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reds are way better.
And the stout.
I mean,
they're my two go-to.
you know, my father is from South Australia, and so what he used to do, he's from a little town called Farrell Flat, which is out in the Clare Valley, about halfway between Clare and Burra. And when his father, right, when my father was young, his father used to go and he used to be like a council worker, work on the roadworks, that sort of thing. And he would go to the general store in Farrell Flat, and he would buy one bottle of Cooper's Red. But Cooper's Red back in the day, like in the 40s and that sort of thing, was 7 to 8-ish%, was much stronger beer. You get a tawley, and then he would have an empty tawley and a tawley with cold water in the icebox, right? And he would come home and he would pour, and you'd buy the beer warm, and he would pour half the beer into one of the tawleys and then top it up with cold water. And so for the price of one warm beer, he got 2 cold beers.
Amazing.
It's fucking smart, mate. Smart.
Genius.
What was the CO2 levels on it? Like, you know, the carbonation.
Is it bubbly water?
Well, you know, in consideration that my grandfather passed away from liver failure, I'm sure it didn't give a fuck.
You might have missed one of the steps.
Sure, it had alcohol in it, you know.
Yeah. That's all that matters. Yeah.
All right,
So,
okay. All right. Next story, Frothtown. I'm not sure why I put this in here because, like, I don't think we've got any listeners from WA, do we?
yeah, Dave Levin.
There we go. We got one. Frothtown,
one of the 12.
is returning in August. It's a WA's. I don't know. I guess it's their
Frothtown is returning to the Claremont Showgrounds on August 19th to deliver a weekend filled with beers, food, live music, and more. Changing the format from 3 days to 2. Imagine doing 3 days. Oh, that's what I'm doing in a couple of weeks at Gabs. Super stoked. Better beers there.
Yep.
Moondog, Northwest Brewing. Well, your camera's off, Dan.
Yeah, I know, because I'm going to the beer fridge and I'm not a rookie like Phil, and I'm not going to leave it on so you know you can see everything that I'm doing.
Fat Brew Club. I've never heard of them. Fox Friday, and be pouring frost heaps normal.
Fox Friday from Tassie. That's cool.
Yeah. One Drop and our Kegtainer bar. Well, there you go. It's I think it's great. Fucking good on them. Need more beer festivals. Bring back the fierce beer festivals. Oh, here we go. What do they got here? Dad Bod wet t-shirt comp. There you go, Phil.
Cool.
That's fucking right up your alley, mate. You do all that fucking hiking and shit.
That's
Gonna be buff.
Oh,
Giant beer pong, sumo wrestling comp, hot dog eating comp, guess the beer tasting game, bucking bull, Dayton beer solo disco, Pirate Life parlor, Idle Hands cocktail bar. Oh, that's the what they had at the Grand Prix, Idle Hands. Feral
what's
Biggie
that?
Bar.
Idle
It's
Hands,
RTD.
right.
RTD.
Mm.
It was all right. It was $12 for a 330ml can, but you know, it was the Grand Prix.
I think they stole that name from me somehow. That was the name of one of my catchment beers. So,
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Those motherfuckers.
Write a strongly worded letter in triplicate.
Probably won't.
So I
And they
think
also
that
have
sounds pretty
festival
good.
beers, like a Gabs type situation as well.
Yeah, okay.
They got some weird shit in there.
Do it. I went to the worst beer festival ever in Perth.
Oh,
There was one on the Perth foreshore. Oh, fuck, this would have been like 2001 or something like that. And 2002 maybe. And it was like this beer festival, and it took like, you could only buy one beer per person at a time.
Oh,
And-
nightmare.
And it took like 90 minutes to queue up for a beer. And then by the time you got there, your beer had run out. So you just go back and join the queue. And at the end, people were just walking out going, this is fucked. I just can't get a beer. And I think a lot of it was related to liquor licensing being so cracking down on them, you know, really strict on them and that sort of thing. And, you know, WA was a very different town then. I don't know what it's like now, but that beer festival's shit because there's no beer effectively. It was just a festival. And even then, it wasn't fun because it wasn't fun. There was no fucking beer.
If you wanted to stand up and drink beer, you could do it anywhere you wanted, really, couldn't
Man,
you?
it was WA. It was hot. It was hot and it's sunny and dry. You know, it was just, it was just fucking terrible. We left halfway through it. I left halfway through. I went to the pub. It was way better. Beers were cheaper, colder, less of a queue. Great.
And then air conditioning.
And air conditioning. Exactly. So yeah. So there you go. Frothtown. Get into it.
brilliant. All right, we got one.
what else we got there, Dan?
Wait, we got one more? Two more.
Are you in the bathroom or
No,
what are you doing?
I'm right. I'm right here.
You no camera.
The dog's humping him.
You guys don't need to see me. It's not helping things at all.
What are you doing?
I'm fucking running this shit, mate. What do you think I'm doing?
Are you on the shitter or something?
Do you say you're doing a shit?
All that talk of beer festivals, I kept thinking about the sour beer festival where you have to go to the toilet every 3 minutes. And then I was like, fuck, I need to go to the bloody toilet. I'm back now, but it's fine. And to be honest, it was a first. I've never gone for a piss on a podcast without anyone finding out. And I thought I'd made it until you pointed that out.
We didn't hear any fucking
because I muted myself.
Twinkle action happening there, mate. You would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for them pesky kids.
I did fucking get away with it. All right. Endeavour. So Endeavour, which I suppose is not Woolies anymore, is it? It's just a standalone company. I've got 2 links here. One is their results that talks about, so it's a Shout article, talks about the results of Endeavour hotels, which is basically saying that the bottle shops are slightly down, but not really. They're basically even, and the pubs are back for Q3, which was January to March, which was also during a time of like a lot of shutdowns, especially in Queensland and WA. So
yeah,
that's positive that people are going back and drinking even then.
Is this ALH? Is Endeavour ALH?
ALH.
Same thing. It's all the Woolies pubs, isn't it?
Woolies pubs, yeah.
Yeah.
And the second article, the Brews News one, talks about Pinnacle, which is the side of the business that makes their products. Well,
makes their products, exactly.
Well,
yes.
Actually, they don't make a lot of their products, to be honest.
No, they have them made.
Yes, they have them made and they sell them under their own brands that make them look like breweries, really. That's kind of what they're doing. That part of the business is going very well. And I think the sales, that second article, I'll put it in the chat, were over $1 billion, I think.
$1 billion.
Which is, if you think about it, like if you go into Coles and Woolies, especially Coles, or you go into Coles, like every section is basically like Coles made stuff. But it's quite obviously Coles made stuff. Like they kind of steal the branding elements, but it's quite obviously Coles. Whereas these beer brands are just kind of brands you wouldn't really know, would you? That
I would say that Woolies does the store brands way better than Coles.
Yeah,
because Woolies does like tinnings and all sorts of stuff. At least they look like craft beer cans. But fucking Coles have like 3 Pub Circus, Lorry Boys, and it's just not that great.
Yeah, if you don't read the fine print on some of those beers in Dan's, then you
wouldn't know.
Independent breweries,
Zitho and all that stuff. I've heard the Zitho's beers are all right. Have you guys had them?
I imagine they are good. I mean, they're probably making them all at the same breweries that are making all the other ones, aren't they?
That's right.
But
interesting.
Pinnacle, okay. Online sales, that was 1 billion annualized online sales, which I thought was a lot. That's $250,000, $250 million a quarter in online sales. Pinnacle, which creates, manufactures and manages a portfolio of drinks brands, has in the year to date made $1.3 billion in revenues.
Nice.
Which is a fucking shitload of money.
That's a lot of money.
Any opinions on that? Do we like Woolies beers or?
I buy Hollandia from BWS. Does that count?
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, then there you go. I care.
I've tried a couple of the pretend brewery brands from Dan's, and I didn't enjoy them. But who knows if that was just the handling? That's the problem.
Yeah, I think we should put that out to the 12.
Another poll?
Which of the store brands do you like? Is actually any good?
Okay.
Yeah, and is it more about price point? So...
Except 3 Pub Circus. Anyone says 3 Pub Circus, you can fuck right off.
Well, also we've got the Neapolitan poll, so I don't want to.
That shit's just pasteurized to within an inch of its life. You know, it's just.
All right. One more. One more before we get into the 12 questions, because we got a questions thread, which is always high value.
Yes.
I started watching this video. The IBA put out a video of a bunch of very smart people talking about low alcohol beer.
Yes.
I think I didn't quite get all the way
We've
through
got there.
the
There's
webinar.
Tiff. There's John Selton. He makes a lot of no-alc beer. Who are those
Yep.
other people?
Frank, you can attempt that one. I don't know.
Frank Frothtown.
There you go.
Oh, he's one teacher. He's my old teacher
Nice.
at the University of Ballarat. He's a legend. He likes a beer too.
Requires even more stringent sanitary requirements than regular brewed products. He was saying in beer, alcohol is the biggest component that assures food safety.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're shipping something that doesn't have a natural, I guess, preservatives or bug killer in it, in alcohol.
Rob Fink. Big Drop. Someone said to me Big Drop and One Drop were the same company. I don't think they're the same company.
Big Drop.
Yeah.
That was
Big Drop
me,
does the.
and I was
Did you
wrong.
say that?
I was very wrong.
Oh wow, that was you.
Yeah.
Was that
Oh,
on
we were just.
Friday?
Was that
Oh,
a
shit.
Friday? Yeah, we're having a beer, and you said One Drop and Big Drop were the same company.
Yeah, no, I was definitely wrong.
Do we need to beep that out? I just want to beep something out. I did. You know how a lot of the conversation around no alc has been like it's been super high growth, but there hasn't been much reporting on volumes. One thing I did notice I don't think it's this article. I think it might have been in that IBA wrap up, which I skimmed this afternoon, was it said Heaps Normal's volumes were 300,000 litres a year, which is the first time I've heard anyone really talk about volume numbers in low
It's not
alc.
a bad. It's not a bad number, but it's not great.
Well, no, they're sort of like by far the leading supplier, aren't they? Are they?
And 300,000 litres a year.
Is kind of fuck all.
So the growth is obviously coming off a very small base. Let's see what happens in a year's time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Did you
I
listen
don't
to
think it's going anywhere, but I don't think it's going to be as big as kind of, what people make it out to be.
Yeah.
It's not
What
going
do
to
you guys
replace
think? Daniel,
regular beer.
Phil, low alc, non alc?
We had this conversation. We ran into Hendo at Ballistic the other day.
Well, I wasn't filming it.
Yeah, well, touche. I love non-alc beer because I mostly drink beer for the taste of it, and Hendo's argument was it doesn't taste like beer. But on the whole, yes, you're right. But I've found a couple that I really like, being Heineken Zeros, and I don't mind the old Schloss Gold from Woolies. Still a bit wordy, but I still love having one of those after a run or mowing the lawn or coming home from work. And
During
I
the
just
hike.
don't get no alc beer. I just don't.
Yep,
I just
I'm the
don't-
same.
I
I'm
don't.
the same too.
If I'm going to mow the lawn, put a fucking cup holder so I can hold a stubby of fucking beer.
I'll have sparkling water if I don't want beer. Beer's beer. Beer, you want that sensation that you get from it as well. So
Yeah.
I prefer not dissing low alc, no alc beers and things. There's a place for them, that sort of thing. I don't know. I prefer and I was chatting to DJ about this last Saturday. And like there's really two types of low alc, non alc beers. You've got the retarded fermentation where they just cut a ferment short, especially yeast or bacteria or something like that. And then you've got de-alkalized beers that are basically mean a fermented beer that then the alcohol has been removed. And Heineken 00 is de-alkalized.
That one comes up a lot. Every conversation I've had about
is retarded fermentation. I think Luke Coops is as well. I think that's retarded fermentation. DJ's is de-alkalized. Did I say that before? Anyway,
is that more expensive to do? Like, is that de-alkalized?
Well, it's another thing it's another hurdle you've got to jump through to make a non-alc beer, because any brewery can go and make a beer with through retarded fermentation or restrained fermentation. I don't know if I should say retarded, restrained fermentation.
Now I can beat that out. I'm beating that out.
Restricted, fucking something, just and it's very, any brewery can make that, right? But then the challenge is around having the equipment for pasteurization, and that's a bit of a barrier. But then if you're going to do de-alkalized beers, then that's another sort of barrier again, because you've got to get the de-alkalizing equipment, like effectively an RO machine.
So why is the Heineken one so good? Like that comes up every time I talk to anyone about low alc.
It's de-alkalized Heineken.
Yeah, and it just tastes like Heineken.
Pretty much.
It
tastes slightly thinner and less full, but it tastes like Heineken.
But all these beers, right? I mean, and I'm just talking general mainstream mega lager, right? They've over the years, they've wanted to take the flavor out. So there's no malt flavor in them. There's no hop flavor in them. And all that they've got left in how they can add flavor to these beers is by yeast, right? And so all these beers, Carlton Draft, 4X Gold, Heineken, all of their flavor are esters that come from yeast and fermentation. And they stress the yeast intentionally and high gravity brew these beers and then water them down to their cell strength, right? So the flavor is always yeast derived flavor. And so if you're going to get a beer like Heineken, which has had some sort of, ester from the yeast in there, and it's still in there, then that kind of reminds you that it is a beer, you know?
I was going to say, because even given all of that, you still have a Heineken that tastes like beer. All right. Well, I'm yet to have a low alc beer that I would drink again. So
yeah,
I guess I'll try the Heineken one and make my mind up.
Go try it. You can get it from a supermarket, mate.
All right. So let's get into these questions. First of all, I've got enough because I did put the Neapolitan poll in the thread.
Okay.
So we got a running total, but we'll do the final total next week. Oh, I've got to vote for this myself. That's a no-brainer. Oh, I voted. Oh my God, they can add their own answers. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right. What? How do I fucking vote? I don't think I can vote.
No, there we go. Add an option. Of course,
voted.
Lee McAllister Smiley's gone. A mix of chocolate and vanilla.
Yeah, absolute zero.
Buy fucking chocolate chip ice cream or fucking.
Lou EG says it's called Neapolitana, not Palmy.
He's cooked.
And then leading on 8 votes is vanilla, which is the one I voted for, no brainer. Second is chocolate with 6 votes. Third is strawberry with 3 votes.
Yeah, wow.
I'm surprised vanilla's winning. But
I'm surprised that vanilla's winning.
No, that's easy. That's an easy win.
Because that's the whole, isn't that whole the point, right? If you buy Neapolitan ice cream and you eat the vanilla first, go and fucking buy vanilla ice cream.
Well, I mean, as long as strawberry comes last, I'm happy.
Get a whole punnet of vanilla. Knock
just
yourself
chocolate
out.
and a vanilla and just leave strawberry.
Stick some Milo in there or whatever you want. And then it's chocolate. Then you're fucked.
To be fair, you could easily do that with chocolate as well. It's just strawberry that presents the issue.
Yeah, fuck strawberry.
Yeah.
Strawberry.
3 votes. 3 votes.
Leon Perkins said vanilla half is arguably more appealing than vanilla.
Look at who we got. Actually, you can see who's voted for what. Matthew Cuthbert voted for strawberry. Then Adam Shell. No, not that one. The other one.
Not that one.
And then Brendan Lowe. They're the 3 people who voted for strawberry. Let's see what the results are like next week.
We should name. So we're naming and shaming. All right. Well,
does Matty Cuthbert use strawberry ice cream from Neapolitan tubs for his sour? Is that why?
I don't know.
Ooh, maybe.
I don't know.
That sounds like a question for next week's 12 questions.
What questions you got there?
So the 12 questions thread. The first question was, why are there 2 questions posts? Because I think I posted this twice.
Riddle me that.
There is.
Right.
Some pretty good social media skills there.
And Connor McCormack replied and said, number 2 rules. That's an inside joke.
Nice.
Right. I'm going to skip. Oh, no, wait, here we go. No, I'm coming back to that one. I'll find the original post. The reason is because I posted it and nothing happened. And then I whacked the button again and then it posted it, but it obviously posted it twice, and that's Facebook's fault. So let me bring up the
Definitely.
original one. Okay. By the way, I don't look at these before the podcast, so if there's anything bad, it's not my fault.
Great.
Darren Gittins, is he a new member of the 12? I don't know. I normally
Maybe.
recognize. He's got a fish on his profile picture.
Hello.
Should you roll the bottle of Cooper's whiskey? Oh, nice.
Cooper's like beer.
Should you roll the whiskey? Because they're making whiskey.
Yeah.
Should you roll it? It's a joke.
Yes.
You
Fuck
guys are
yes.
fucking slow.
Yes.
Definitely.
Daniel Venema. Oh, that's you.
Who's that?
He said, I'll consider this my uninvitation.
You
That's
told
'cause he
everyone
does
Phil
hot-
was coming on.
Oh, okay. I see. Because I said Phil was coming on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
everyone's
true.
going, where's Daniel?
yeah.
That's true. But also, it's called the 12 questions thread, not the 12 statements thread.
Sorry about that.
All right. I don't think you mentioned Daniel Hendo. Did you? I don't know. I thought there was vague mention of a second person. I don't
Yeah.
know.
We can blame Hendo. That's
I
good.
think
Yeah,
we blame
thanks.
Hendo.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm happy to blame Hendo.
And Lee said you will speak when spoken to in reply to your comment.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I just gave that a like. Okay. Silly Boar Bribery says, why isn't Daniel invited? All right.
He's fucking here.
Fuck me. There's going to be no actual questions on this thing, is there? All right.
That was a kind of a, that was
Oh.
actually a question, but
That's true.
it was a
Craig
shit
Maiden, who got
question.
an award for this question,
Right.
a thoughtful award from Luke Cooper. Why are the processes for making sure that low alc beers are free from bacteria and nasty pathogens? Seems to me it may be another reason for the seemingly high cost.
Yeah.
What are the processes?
Well,
Yeah.
if you're going to make a beer without alcohol, pathogens can live in it, like actual bacteria that can make you sick. We're very lucky because when we make beer, it's got alcohol in it, and alcohol kills pathogens. And so if you're going to remove that, then all of a sudden the training wheels have come off, right? Any dickhead can go and make beer and make shit beer and be really crappy with their plant sanitation. And as long as there's alcohol in there, no one's going to get sick. But the moment you remove the alcohol, then pathogens, that make things that make people sick can live in the product. And so that's the real challenge with low alc, no alc beers. As soon as you get below about 2.8% alcohol and 8 IBUs, so around that. It's not a line in the sand, but it's around that. And a pH of the sort of high threes, mid threes, then pathogens can start to live in the product. And so you've got to pasteurize, basically.
Yeah.
There are other ways you can do, like flash pasteurization, sterile filtration, and all that sort of stuff. But I wouldn't be doing anything. If it was my call, I wouldn't do anything other, for a can, anything other than chucking it in a tunnel pasteurizer.
Pasteurizer. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. On the second 12 questions thread, there was also 2 more questions from Lou E.G.
He's all over the show today.
100%. We need to ask something. So is hop farming in Australia going to become more sustainable?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that. We should get
is it
someone on the
very
show who can
unsustainable
answer
now,
to
or
I know that it's very water intensive.
right?
Hops are very water intensive, but as is a lot of farming. We should get someone from the hop industry
All right.
on the show, mate.
Well, you're
I suppose it's
king of
going to,
guests.
yeah, it's going. I was going to say, I suppose it's going to
Flick
land
that
on
one
my
back to
shoulders
you.
to fucking sort that out. Thanks, man.
See what you can do, mate.
Leave it with me. Let's.
I ran into
let's think-
Sandy the other day at the fucking 782 motor. Do you know 782 Motors on the Gold Coast? They do like American muscle cars, and they do an auction every
Yeah.
month.
Yes.
I randomly went there with my kids last weekend, and Sandy
Yes. He loves muscle cars.
He was
He
there.
owns a muscle car.
No, he doesn't own just one muscle car. He,
Yeah,
like,
he's got a
I was
few.
like, oh, which one have you got again? You got some like Charger or
He's
something?
got a Valiant. Yeah.
He's got fucking 6.
Yeah. He loves
And one of
muscle
them he
cars.
bought from 782, and that place like doesn't sell anything for under 100 grand.
Yeah. Did he buy anything?
I don't think so. No, but
He
I
was
think
there. He was having beers with Smokey or something. He's just on holidays, I think, at the moment.
yeah, just randomly ran into him.
Is that why hops are so expensive?
He's not in the hop business anymore.
Yes, I think so.
He's retired.
Is that sustainable? That's a lot of fucking
Yeah.
petrol to put into a car every time you buy a hop. But yeah, anyway, we can get him on. I don't know. Do we know anyone else who knows about hops, Hende? You know about hops.
Sandy might be a good one to do actually, because he's sort of he's out of the business now, and
Yeah.
so he might be in a good place to sort of make a comment.
True. He could be like Jack from Twitter, where it's like as soon as he left the CEO role, he just blasts Twitter nonstop on his Twitter. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I
Right.
follow
On that
Jack.
subject-
It's so good. So
What's
good.
that?
I love following Jack.
I
It's
know.
great.
It's great. On that subject, the final question is, why did Elon buy Twitter?
I don't know.
Was he sick of humping Dan's leg?
I think he
Oh,
wants to
there you
get
go.
rid of that kid that tracks
Works.
his private plane.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
That's it. I think the two things that he wants to do with Twitter, and mate, if you're going to spend $46 billion, fucking knock yourself out. But I think the two things he's going to do with Twitter is kill that kid that tracks his plane and
Wait,
put
kill him
Donald-
or cut off his Twitter?
both.
Okay.
You spend billions of dollars, you can do whatever.
Give him some
And I
low
think-
up bill
and I
that
think-
beer
I
that
think-
hasn't been
and-
pasteurized.
And the other thing he'll do is he'll put Donald Trump back on Twitter.
Yes.
Right. That's a prediction. I predict that's not going to happen. Donald
Yeah, I
Trump's got
reckon
his
it's
own social network that's
Yeah,
got
so
like
and Donald
$20
Trump's already
billion
said,
worth of investment.
I'm not going back on Twitter because I've got my own social media network.
Yeah,
He hasn't
Truth
posted on his
Social.
own social media network since the day one.
No, I tried to access it.
and
but
so
it's not
he
open
would
for Australians.
love to be back on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't think Trump's coming back.
Doubt
But
it.
yeah, that's it.
All right. Good show, guys. Thanks for coming along.
Almost every show we go goes for an hour and a half. This one's going for like 2 hours. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel like that's.
you do rabbit on a bit.
It must be good.
I know. I feel like no. I'm just saying, like based on the quantity, this is the best. One of the best ones we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's enjoyable.
Good luck with the build, guys. And if you do have a busy bee and that sort of thing, just hit us up, man, and I'll come
Yeah,
and busy bee it. And I can do like grinding floor, polishing floors, or fucking whatever. Just don't
Yeah,
get
no,
me to
cool.
don't get me to jackhammer tiles. Off
Yeah,
the fucking
don't
wall.
touch.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
let me know when
myself.
your tiles.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Have
Yeah,
you chosen
also-
an interior
actually, it
paint
was
color
funny,
for
I
the
was-
brewery?
I was actually going to say that I was at Bunnings the other day, and looking at like for the toilet block. And I went to the paint section. I said, "What am I doing here? I already know what I'm going to get."
Taubman's.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I got some paint things. I'm going. I'll just walk out. It was just like,
We should get paid for this, Dan.
We should. Well, some idiot in the group this week was going on about Taubman's. Have you heard
That
of
was
this mob?
Coop. That was Coop. And
That's what
I'm
happens
like,
if you drink too much non-alc beer.
That's exactly right.
Better off breathing
Too
in
many-
lexicon.
too many
That's what happens when you
pathogens in
drink
the
too much Taubman's.
All right. Well, on that note, cheers, fellas. Thanks for coming
Cheers,
on.
fellas.
yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. Yeah,
Catch
really
you
Lovely
next
work.
week. Catch
Good
you next
luck.
week, Dan.
See you guys.
Yeah. Bye.